Okay, so we're starting now the Gemara. We went through the Mishnah, just describing the time to say Shema at nighttime. We have a mitzvah every night to say Shema. Shema Yisrael Hashem, Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And so now the Gemara is going to speak about what we spoke about in the Mishnah, explain a little bit more what the Mishnah meant exactly, how to understand the Mishnah. The Mishnah is written very often, very shorthand, is not explained out as much. It was written as shorthand as possible for memorization's sake and for other reasons. And the Gemara comes and investigates the Mishnah and picks apart the Mishnah and contemplates the Mishnah and works to understand what exactly is the Mishnah saying, why did it say it the way it does, why didn't it say it other ways, how to understand it, how to compare it to other places that might seem contradictory, and bottom line, to take out from the Mishnah exactly what it is that we need to understand how to live. What is the halacha? What is the bottom line from the Mishnah? From the Mishnah itself, we can't really understand always what to do. The Mishnah brings different opinions, and it's also sometimes not saying everything it means to say, and it needs the Gemara to come and explain to us more what's going behind the scenes in the Mishnah, more what's going beyond just the very short, abbreviated statements of what the Mishnah is saying sometimes. So, over here, the Gemara starts with a question. Just like the Mishnah starts with a question, the Gemara starts with a question. And should take it as a lesson that we should always we should always have questions. The Torah starts with questions. To have the questions, that's how we learn the most, is from, we should never be afraid to have questions, and that's how we learn the best, is by having questions and looking at things and it doesn't make sense, and how can we make sense of it. That's the best way to grow in our learning, is to try to truly investigate and find the questions, and through the quiz, when you have a good question, that's already 70% to finding a good answer. So maybe even more than that. So so the Gemara starts with the question. Tana heichakai. The author of the Mishnah, called the Tana. Any of the Rabbeim, the times of the Mishnah, called Tanai. And later they're called Amorai. The later Rabbis in the Gemara called Amorai. So the Tana, the author of the Mishnah, heichakai, literally it means, where is he standing? But it means more to understand for us, where is he coming from? The katani me'emasai. Where is he coming from that he could teach us already? From when do you say Shema? That's what he asked. From when do we say Shema at night? So the Gemara is asking, from where is he coming from? Where is he standing? Where is he coming from that he could already ask us? From what time do we say Shema? Since when do we even know anything about Shema in the first place? And before you start teaching me from when to say Shema, from what are the different halachas of Shema, he didn't introduce the concept of Shema at all. He just started asking questions. He didn't teach us where is Shema. This is Rashi says, Mehecha kasalik. From where did he come from? The Tanabei Chovas Kriya Shema, that taught him the obligation of saying Shema. From where is he coming from that he learned the obligation of Shema in the first place, that he started asking when you say Shema? Before you start telling me when you say Shema, you have to know that you have to say Shema. Then after you know that you have to say it, then you can start telling me when it is, how to do it. But before that, you can't. You don't be starting from step 2, and we never had step 1. So that's what the Gemara is asking. His first question: from where is he coming from that he's starting to tell us? Where does he know that there was a obligation of Shema in the first place? That now he's telling us that we have a certain laws of how to say the Shema, when to say the Shema. That's the question number 1. V'su, and furthermore, my Shna Ditani be'arvis bereisha. So why is he teaching? What's different over here? Ma'ishna, what's different over here? The Tani Ba'arvis, that he's teaching the mitzvah of nighttime Shema first. Listening to Shacharis first, he should teach the morning Shema first. If you would ask anybody, a normal person, what you would teach first. They would say the morning or the night Shema. What would you say first? You would say the morning first. That would seem to make the most sense. Why would you start from the night? Why would we start talking about the night time before the morning? Normally, the normal way we live is we wake up in the morning, we live a whole day, and then we go up in the nighttime, we go to sleep. The night comes after the morning. Why would you start from the night then? It would make the most sense to start from the morning. That would seem to be. And Tosfos, just a small little glimpse into the Tosfos. We're not really going to speak about Tosfos very much, but just a little glimpse. He says there's even more of a reason to say that, because apparently, maybe that it says that there's a pasuk in the Torah. It says when it comes to, there was a certain korban, a certain sacrifice. Every day there was a daily sacrifice, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. And when the Torah spoke about that sacrifice, it said that first you do the one in the morning, then you do the one at night. So we see that the Torah has a certain relationship that when you talk about doing this korban, the Torah spoke about day and night. So we see already the Torah also takes into account. I mean, maybe the Torah doesn't care that people wake up in the morning and then go to sleep at night. Like, who cares? Maybe the Torah doesn't care that that's the normal way people live. But we see that the Torah itself takes into account that this is the normal cycle of people's lives in some way. The Torah itself places day before night. So why, in this certain context, so why is he just jumping ahead over here and doing night before day? It doesn't seem to make sense. Certainly, any normal person today would never put the night before the day. Why would he do that? So, the Gemara gives an answer to both these questions. Tana akra kai. The Tana is coming from the pasuk. The kra is the pasuk, means a pasuk, from the Chumash, from the 5 books of Moses, where it says, Dichsiv, it's written in the pasuk in Devarim, Deuteronomy, in the 6th chapter in the 7th verse. It says, this is where we learn the mitzvah of saying Shema. It says, B'shach b'cha uvkumecha. That it says every day you're supposed to speak about these words, and you're supposed to say it, B'shach b'cha, you're supposed to say these words, B'shach b'cha uvkumecha. That when you go to sleep and when you get up. So, it said that in the actual, this is actually the paragraph that we say for the Shema, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, followed by a paragraph, after the Hashem Elokecha, and in that paragraph it says that you should speak of these words, v'dibarta bam, when in your house, when you're walking, when you go to sleep and when you get up. So from there we learn that there's a mitzvah to say these words that the Torah is talking about there. This paragraph of Shema, there's a mitzvah to say it, when you go to sleep and when you wake up. So that is where the Tana was coming from. That's where he learned, that's where he understood there was a mitzvah from that pasuk, from the mitzvah to say Shema. And once there was that, once we see that that's what the verse is telling us, that we're supposed to say Shema in the nighttime and in the morning, now we can start talking about how to say it. So that was step 1 that the Mishnah skipped, but that the Tana knew already. That's where the Tana was coming from. At least now we know where the Tana was coming from. Where did he get this idea of saying Shema in the first place? He got it from the pasuk. It says it in the pasuk that we have to say it at nighttime and in the morning. And now, since it's in the pasuk, since that's the way it is in the pasuk, so now we can start asking questions. Now, how do we do it? From when do we do it? And until when? And many other questions that are involved in how to actually perform this mitzvah. And also, this would answer this would answer also why it said the nighttime before the daytime. Because the language of the verse was uv'shach b'cha uvkumecha, when you go to sleep and when you wake up. Here, when it came to the mitzvah of saying Shema, the Torah described it. First it said when you go to sleep, you should say it, and then this is when you get up. So you see, when the Torah was teaching us that there's a mitzvah to say Shema twice a day, first time it said first the mitzvah when you go to sleep,